Trying something pretty technologically ambitious once again today. The good news is if it works, nobody will notice anything at all. I'm down here, we've got this historic and frankly historically disgraceful sentencing of President Donald Trump. We had the Supreme Court yesterday weigh in with a last-minute decision. 5-4. They went against Trump. I don't know, did people get to see this? We had Politico did a story here saying Supreme Court rejects Trump's bid to halt his hush money sentencing. They love that terminology, the hush money sentencing. This article was good because it linked directly to the order. I like that. So many articles don't want to show you the direct thing. Look at how pathetic this is. It's scant in terms of its verbiage. Donald Trump versus New York et al. The application for stay presented to Justice Sotomayor and by her referred to the court as denied for inter alia, which is asshole lawyer language that means, among other things, for the following reasons. First, the alleged evidentiary violations at President-elect Trump's state court trial can be addressed in the ordinary course of appeal. I want to address that language. Second, the burden that sentencing will impose on the president-elect's responsibilities is relatively insubstantial in light of the trial court's stated intent to impose a sentence of unconditional, discharge after a brief virtual hearing. And then it notes that Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and who else there? They dissented. They would have granted it, meaning... So here's the thing. There's nothing ordinary about this. The ordinary course of appeal, that's bullshit. This should have been stayed, stopped, and otherwise removed. Not just because it's going to affect the president, it's going to affect the whole entire country. This is little more than a smear at best. They're dying to be able to say, Trump's legacy is marred by him being the first convicted. I guess they've shored that thing up. They got rid of the 2x4. They want him to be the first convicted felon, and they were annoyed that they missed that mark the first time around. This entire case is predicated on just lies, falsehoods, nonsense. People saw me yelling at Norm Eisen, Ben Wittes. I would have yelled at Michael Cohen if he had the courage to be down here, but of course he does not. I don't think we're going to see any of these guys down here today because this is a virtual hearing. Trump is not here. I mean, he won't be here, right? Probably nobody really is going to be here. Not nobody, but it's going to be relatively small turnout, I expect, compared to the previous Lawfare shenanigans against Trump, because this is just purely ceremonial. What is that guy looking at? They just want to stick this label on Trump. And so, shame on Amy Coney Barrett for siding with those liberal losers. She was the one who could have decided it, And it's not that because Trump appointed her, she needs to side with Trump. This is a disgrace. This allows lawfare to stand. It's not a matter that he can overturn it on appeal. It's the fact that they're allowing this injustice to stand even for a moment. It's terrible, but look, the silver lining here is that hopefully this will only galvanize Trump's resolve to smash lawfare, root and stem, right? So let's see if the idiot police try to thwart my broadcast today. I'm sure they will. They've done it many times. They might succeed. I don't know. They've got resources that I'm not fully aware of. But now, I do too. So we're live. That's a good sign. Yeah, Balloon Knot says Barrett is weak and a shithead. Have to agree. The judges are morons. They are. It's a really sad state. Very, very bad. So this is Lawfare, no doubt. Benjamin Wittes, remember, he's, well, not right now, but he's on and off been the director of the Lawfare Institute, an organization that itself needs to come under criminal investigation. You cannot have a non-profit organization that's engaged in 21st century mechanism of war fighting, which is what Charles Dunlap Jr. says Lawfare is. It's intended to achieve military and political objectives, and I would argue that today, Lawfare has succeeded. And by the way, I've heard Dershowitz talking a lot about Lawfare, that smiling douchebag. He's like, oh, I met with President Trump today to talk about Lawfare. And he's fighting Lawfare. Dershowitz is part of Lawfare, whether he realizes it or not. I mean, he does realize it. Everything he was doing in that Giuffre v. Dershowitz, as far as I could tell, was a game of Lawfare. I mean, Trump's doing everything he can to fight it, but unfortunately, I don't know, he was just, you know, maybe overwhelmed here.
But I think,
like I said, at this point, the best hope is that this will just strengthen Trump's resolve and really cause him to go hard against the Lawfare criminals who are doing this. So we're back in Collect Pond Park. This is the Mos Eisley spaceport of idiots, a hive of scum and villainy. You know, what does he say about it? The most wretched hive of scum and villainy. It's amazing. We've got, you know, homeless people have cell phones. Is this guy working for the cops? And he says, oh, Goodman is here. You better call Orrin Levi. Get him down here. See what the hell is what. Now, is this a pro-Trump flag? Or an anti-Trump flag? Who have we got here today? What collection of miscreants? Maybe they don't care, the miscreants, because maybe there's not too much that they can do. Who we got here? Looks pro-Trump. Yeah, it's Trump on the flag. Good. Uh-oh. Did I already lose connection to this damn phone? Man, it looks like I did. So you see, that's the one thing that I'm not able to really shore up. Wow. Okay, let's see. How do I reconnect there? We're going to do it. This thing. I believe that that is an indicator that there was just an attempt to shut this down. Let's see if we can get it back on. So much Wi-Fi in this park right now. Can we get it back? I hope so. Otherwise, we're limited to this broadcast up my nose. Where is my Wi-Fi spot here? Come on now. Gosh, that'll be a short broadcast and very annoying. I've been able to rescue this before. Let's see if we can't do it right now. So many issues. I think the police are trying to stop me from broadcasting because they know exactly who I am. But I could be wrong. It could just be... What is the name of my network here? Huh. Yeah, it looks like they've all been disconnected from that network. Interesting. Yeah, so perhaps my wonderful way of rescuing these broadcasts won't work. Huh. Interesting. All right, stand by.
Hey, Crows, take this!
sentence. That's interesting. See, I noticed those guys looking at me. Yeah, it's been disconnected. Okay. So maybe spending tons of money on that wasn't such a great idea. See my hand. That means we're back. Okay, let's see what we can make happen here. Hopefully that didn't kill the broadcast. But there's all kinds of people looking at me. What the hell am I so interesting for? I don't know if that restored the broadcast or not, but we will soon see. Looks like it might have. Yeah. Good. Screw you, cops. Who's this guy? And this guy turned around when I said, screw you, cops. All right, so, I mean, this is what we're dealing with here today. Tons of digital harassment. Yeah, restored. But I don't know. Yeah, it looks like the whole thing is restored, so that's pretty good. Got a lot of people. Well, anyway, please become a sponsor if you're not already. Lots of money being spent to ensure that Crowdsource the Truth can stay online in the face of digital harassment. Let's see, where'd that homeless guy with the cell phone go? So yeah, right, let's talk about that Supreme Court ruling. So they're saying that because the court's stated intent is to just convict him, not send him to jail, the stated intent and what the guy is actually going to do could be two different things. So what do you think?
I think that they're embarrassing themselves even more by doing this.
I agree with you completely.
They've gone over the top, and apparently the politicians in California went over the top. I think California's going to turn red.
I think you're right. It was total mismanagement of the forestry that resulted in this fire, at least, if not deliberate starting from all the technology that we know they have available, not the least of which is a bunch of guys just going in the woods and throwing down a cigarette and starting a fire like that.
Yeah.
I've lived in California, and I have friends in the Hollywood Hills who have lost their homes. Summertime, you literally could drop a cigarette and start a fire like that.
Yeah, it's... only you could prevent the forest fire. They've
That's
been
right.
advertising for the past 100 years.
How was Christmas this year, Real MAGA Santa?
It was great. The spirit was up. I had a great time, even though I'm Jewish.
Yeah, it's still Christmas time. You
it's
can still
Christmas,
celebrate.
and I love it, and I still feel the spirit, and going to try to make it last the whole year.
Now let me ask you this. So the Supreme Court said that they're not going to stay this sentencing because through the normal course of appeal, it could be overturned. I think that was an incorrect decision because nothing about this is normal. And Trump should not have to appeal this Lawfare decision, right?
Well, there's a couple of levels in New York State, the appellate division and then the New York State Supreme Court of Appeals, which is the highest court in New York State. I think the U.S. Supreme Court's saving their ammunition for bigger things.
Bigger?
Bigger, more important things than this, which will eventually reach the Supreme Court and be overturned. Thank God we're a constitutional republic.
But isn't it true they just want to smear Trump with the label that from now on he will be marred as the one and only convicted felon to ever serve as president? And then after today, after the corrupt Juan Merchan bangs the gavel and provides the sentencing, he will in fact be convicted of a felony.
It doesn't matter because he's president too, and he will be president for 4 years, and maybe another Trump the next 4 years, and another Trump after that.
Well, we don't really want political dynasties, but focusing on this Trump term, don't you think this is likely to galvanize lawfare?
Every indictment broke, and a million, because they went over the top, just like the politicians in California. They've reached their pinnacle.
Critical
and
mass,
it's all
really.
downhill. Also in New York State, too.
Absolutely.
People are being burned in subways. And,
Unbelievable.
It's unreal.
Now, Real MAGA Santa, now that we have reached the end of this just incredibly detestable Joe Biden presidential term, what can you say? What has Joe Biden done to the United States of America after 4 years?
He made it worse. He did his best to make it worse, and whether or not it was his choice or direction from his staff, it doesn't matter. It's under his administration, and it's obscene. It's going to take decades to clean up the mess that his administration created.
I agree with you. Merry Christmas, Real MAGA Jewish Santa. Have a good day. Good to see you out here. Sorry?
Are you recording?
The whole thing, yeah. It's a
No,
live
are you
stream.
recording now?
Yeah, the whole thing is being recorded.
Oh,
Anything you want to tell me?
You stay well.
Thank you very much. How you doing?
It's a good interview.
Thank you very much. The Weed News Network.
Instead of helping out the people, they just protesting Trump. That's all
I
they
say
care
the
about.
Weed News Network.
That's a good name. Oh, check it out. We're actually we have a protesting at National Action Network. 2 days at the policy forum.
What is it that you're doing?
The thing is that Al Sharpton, he's on MLK Day, he's always had something in Harlem where he had talked about policy with elected officials. But as per usual, instead of taking care of like the longest wrongfully incarcerated man in New York State history, instead of taking care of Asian Americans, right? Yeah. What happens is, and even his own people, right? People like that are getting, like little old ladies are getting beat up in their home. All they care about is protesting Trump. They don't actually care about actually helping their own community. So we're going to call them out. We actually have people from the community that are victims. The only people that Al kind of really focuses on are people that are dead or people that are rich that are paying him. Like Claudine Gay. She's getting $800,000.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so Saturday the 18th, you guys are having...
We're going to be protesting in front of a National Action Network.
Okay.
Come through. We're going to try to have a sea of MAGA hats.
145th Street.
Yeah, then when Al Sharpton tries to protest Trump, Trump will have firepower to see how Al Sharpton's actually neglecting people in his own community.
Okay, well, do me a favor. Hang on to that. I got a picture of it.
Okay.
I don't want to waste those for you.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
but I got
the
no
QR
place to
code,
put
yeah.
it right now.
That's okay.
You got
God
it.
bless
It's on
you.
camera. Thanks very much. Now, are the cops making them put away this Trump flag or what? Here we go. More Trump flags.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you doing? I've seen you here in the park before, haven't I?
Yeah.
You don't want to take the mask off.
No.
Don't you think it's deceptive to appear in public with a mask?
No,
What are
not
all these?
necessarily.
You always seem to have weird symbols on your jacket.
guy's Antifa.
Are you the guy that's been talking to Ian Carroll? I think you are.
Who's that?
Yeah, that's you.
What's up?
That was you. So what do you? Yeah.
So maybe we can get Norm Eisen down.
What was that?
Maybe we can get Norm Eisen down. Maybe you run up with Norm Eisen.
I wonder if Norm is here
he's going to
today.
jail. So you're going to jail, buddy.
Exactly.
So now maybe now that if we seize control of the Justice Department,
It would be nice.
He was acting like he was a Trump supporter.
That guy?
Yeah.
No, that guy's some kind of Antifa disruptor. He was absolutely on with Ian Carroll.
Who is
you penetrated Antifa or something,
When
right?
did
That
I?
was your
No.
that was your deal that you were talking
Bro,
to Ian
I
about.
just turned
You just
18.
look and sound exactly like the guy who did
Oh,
that
yeah, I
and
guess
show
I
up
do.
wearing a Trump hat and skeleton mask
Yeah,
and
of
trying to
course.
disrupt. What is this right here? What is that symbol?
Called Kekistan.
What?
Kekistan.
Kekistan.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, I see. You're a troublemaker, my man. This lady's a troublemaker too. Where's Oren Levi? Is Oren here with you today? See, there's something.
Hey, I remember you.
Yeah, I remember you too. You're a
Yeah,
troublemaker, lady.
on the
Don't
verge of
advance
rape.
towards me.
Huh?
You're committing assault in New York. Do not
No.
step toward me. Back up.
Don't say that.
Don't advance towards me with a pole.
I didn't.
You did.
I stand here still.
Yes,
You
because
accuse
I
me
told you to
wrongly.
stop. and I backed up.
Oh my God.
Listen, stop talking to me, lady. So something's up. These are like Miles Guo operatives who think they know something, but they're troublemakers, all of them. See, they're always down here, and that's why I came here today. I don't think we're going to get to see Norm. How's it going, man?
So I'm saying now that if we can get control of the Justice Department, we could actually arrest Norm Eisen.
I hope so. I hope that will happen. I think
Not
that
just Eisen, Andrew Weissman.
all those guys.
All of those guys. Mueller, I don't care if he's got dementia. Mueller is a traitor.
You're
Get
right.
him, you know what I mean?
I hope that we'll see that happen.
The other guy too, Matthew Graves, he's the Attorney General, the District Attorney, or the Attorney General for Washington, D.C. He's rounding up these old ladies and never even went to the Capitol. They didn't even go inside. They just stood outside and he's hunting them down with SWAT teams, you know? So,
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing that they've been trying to do with all of this effort is to make it appear that anything that Trump would do along those lines would be political, you know, that he's seeking revenge.
No, it's
obviously,
justice. It's
exactly.
justice.
That's correct. I agree with
people
you.
committed crimes. They violated people's constitutional rights. They violated their oaths of office. They violated everything. Everything this country stands for.
What about Fannie Willis? They got her.
Oh my God! She. Remember when they cross-examined her? She was throwing her hands in the air. She was throwing temper tantrums. She had an answer for anything. It was like the worst testimony I've ever saw in my life. That's right. And she was communicating with the Biden Department of Justice, which is collusion, which is conspiracy. She should be arrested for conspiracy.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy against rights. It's a big federal case that Trump has against the United States that he has brought. He even said he feels bad being the president of the United States and suing the United States, but it has to be done.
Otherwise, it's like cancer. It's just going to keep going on. They keep doing it. They've been doing it for like 50 years. These people have seized power.
You're exactly right.
Generational power. They didn't earn it. This guy Blinken, he's a very uninspiring guy. He's done nothing. And then he goes to Ukraine and he plays the guitar, keep on rocking the free world like we're fucking idiots. Like he's just spitting on our fucking face. You just robbed us for $170 billion. You launder it to Ukraine.
California
like
burns, North Carolina floods, East Palestine, Ohio, chemical spill. None of that has been addressed.
Purpose. That's not all. None of that's coincidental. That's all part of a plan.
I think you're right. If China or some adversary invaded the United States and attacked those cities, they couldn't have done more damage than what's been done.
And they'd all be swinging from lampposts right now. George Washington have these people strung up by now.
All right, well, anyway, have a good day. I'm going to continue to walk around and see what's going on. We got a lot of...
I know that guy. Like there was something strange. He just kept saying, yeah. And then he had me go. He was goading me.
Yeah, that guy's...
Something wrong, right?
A troublemaker. All of these people
Remember the little Puerto Rican guy that kept antagonizing us last time?
Yeah,
He's not here. He's not here this time.
Well, they just send these people, you know, and they put on Trump hats and they make everybody think they're for Trump.
Remember, they used to come to Billy clubs and they were beating people at Trump rallies. Remember 2016 and 2017?
Yeah.
And Antifa people were attacking us?
Yeah, they're changing strategy a little bit here. Now they're trying to get old ladies because that way they feel like, oh, it won't be a fight or something, but they're doing the same thing. Anyway, stay warm, man. It's freezing out today.
Basically, just believe the same thing.
Yeah, so see, here we got... What are you looking at? Got the Chinese handler. These guys are all disruptors. See, the cops probably using digital harassment equipment. Trump trial is a sham. Shame on Mershon. So we got a different security posture here today. I don't have an NYPD press, so they're not going to let me in there, and I don't want to talk to these dunces. I wonder if Norm Eisen is going to be down here. He might. See, it's cold, so you only get the hardest core. Did they make you put away the Trump flag? Was it you who had the Trump flag up?
Yeah.
They made you put it away, or what happened?
Well, we all had it up.
But did they make you put it away? I
No,
thought
they
it was
didn't make
good.
us put it away.
You were just done. You did the demonstration.
Yes, we did.
We showed our love for President Trump, and we showed our love for God, and in God we trust, not the government.
Oh, yeah.
Well said.
Yes, right. And we got to remember that Black Lives Matter.
I like that. That's a great
Yes,
slogan.
united we stand.
Thanks for coming out, you guys.
Unlike the liberals, we don't divide and conquer. We unify.
It's true.
We're minorities. We're on this side.
Yeah, you see,
On the progressive
they're
side.
these Miles Guo operatives are upset that I got their number. Oops. Oh, damn it. Again with that. Yeah, so see, there's something that they're using down here that is able to disrupt. I gotta do this again. Now, so let's see if we can get back on. I hope we're still live. Huh. I don't know if we are or aren't. Looks like I am. All right, so there you go, cops. Do whatever you want. I seem to have my method here. So now, whatever they're doing, if it is legit, it is futile. You see, computers will not win in a battle against me. Might seem like it for a little while, maybe even 8 years, but eventually they'll get figured out. There's a lot of people looking at me. So see, if those are Miles Guoc operatives, they'd be here. I don't know if they're Miles Guoc or whatever, but it seems like the police are involved in these inauthentic protests. Look, see this asshole.
Giving them $700 for losing their house. Donald Trump is going to put this country first and us first.
Why should anyone listen to or believe a masked lunatic? If you've got something to say, why don't you show us your identity and say it? Everybody here is not wearing a mask except for you. You're a very suspicious character. You're here to disrupt. Why don't you take the mask off and tell us what you have to say? Yes, I understand. That's why he shouldn't be listened to. He's a disruptor. Take off the mask. Show us your identity. You are full of shit, bro. You're an Antifa member.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
How?
Take off the mask and show us your face. Come on, this guy's Antifa. He's here to disrupt. Don't listen to what he says. Don't publish his bullshit in the news. Nobody here is wearing a mask except for you, man.
I have a right to anonymity.
Yes, you do, and I have a right to inform everybody that you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You're a disruptor. Get lost. Don't tell me what to do.
Everybody wants content.
Don't tell me what to do.
Huh?
Don't tell me what to do, and don't take one step toward me.
I'm not getting close. I'm going over there. Thank you.
Go fuck yourself, pal.
From here, it's no hate. Okay?
This is not hate. This is defending the truth. That guy
He thinks I hate
is
him,
a
that's
liar.
wrong.
I don't think you hate me. I just think you're a dunce or you're with him.
No, I'm not with nobody. I'm with myself.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, same with my mother.
Just, I have no doubt.
I still love you. How about
Dude,
that?
shut up.
How about that?
How you guys doing? See, there are honest people who come to these things all the time, and then there are sketchy people who come to these things all the time. And the idea is we've got their number. That's a staged piece of nonsense there. I don't believe anything that's going on over there. So there's going to be separate broadcasts as far as, what's going on inside the court building here. And we could see there's a lot less security, This is the sort of normal access that you're supposed to have to the courts. It's all public stuff. But when they want to do dirty deeds, they have to close it off, fence it off, and have fake undercover police. We now have a much clearer picture of the broad criminality of the NYPD. Thanks to my conversations with Sal Greco and the information that he and Eric Dim and John Macari and others have been bringing forward. It's very good that we've been able to learn that Eric Adams is one of the most prolific organized crime figures perhaps in history. Yeah, see, I don't think you got your Norm Eisen types and all that here today, because they probably would have more cops over here. Maybe we'll see Andrew Giuliani. Excuse me, fellas. Did you happen to see Norm Eisen here this morning? You don't know who he is? MSNBC twat? No. Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't see him.
Okay. I wonder. Yeah, it's a much smaller turnout. Again, it's a virtual hearing today, so I doubt we'll see all those bigwigs. They don't want to come out in the cold. They don't want to, they'll just watch it from the studio and comment. Again, those idiots, their purpose is, they shout and they say a bunch of nonsense, and then that gets in the Post or whatever. And then, I don't know, somewhere somebody thinks that's authentic, something or other, perhaps. We're back to the older gimbal here today. I'm just sort of trying to figure out the differences in operation. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe what I've done has made it more difficult for the cops to disrupt because, again, I can't go into detailed technical explanations, but the type of failure that I'm experiencing today tells me something. There's always people standing near me texting, but this is the press area. It could be completely innocent, completely normal. Could be. Yeah, I mean, if we see a picture of me on there, we'll know something's up. So again, the Supreme Court was saying that the stated intent of the court was to sort of sentence Trump but not convict him to prison or any kind of substantial thing that would disrupt his ability to be president. The stated intention and what might actually happen could be two totally different things. The judge can change his mind. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that occurred. This is the type of access, by the way, that the public and the press should have. Or at least closer to it. I'm a little surprised we didn't see Oren Levi in that mix. Maybe now, maybe they were waiting for me. Do we see MSNBC over here?
I'm sorry, shit.
Is Oren Levi with you guys today? You didn't see Norm Eisen this morning, did you? Did you see Norm Eisen this morning?
No.
Is he here?
I didn't see him today. So
Probably in the studio, too cold.
Probably, yeah.
See, these guys wearing masks make sense because they have to stand here all day and they're not dressed like Antifa like that other guy. They're not wearing skull and bones masks. And they don't have a beard like that Teamster-looking dude over there. That guy reminds me of the type of guy who would normally be wearing shorts on a day like today, operating an electrician's truck or something like that. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
So it's a much quieter atmosphere down here. So that guy's got his camera pointing at me. It seems. It's interesting. Do we recognize him? Yeah, I guess you are allowed to move freely through there. The cops are just sort of standing there waiting for somebody like that Antifa putz in the Punisher mask to disrupt. This really is just a disgusting abuse of the so-called justice system. It's a smear on the country in general. Let's see, is our broadcast continuous? Yeah, it looks like it's good. And let's check on Odyssey. Now is a good time to remind people, if you enjoy this kind of coverage, I hope you'll become a sponsor on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. That's the most economical way to sponsor Crowdsource the Truth. For as little as $3 a month, plus just a 58-cent Odyssey fee, you can help keep Crowdsource the Truth going. It's a great way to sponsor independent journalism, great way to sponsor independent tech. Odyssey is not. Some people like to post the false rumor that Odyssey was purchased by George Soros. That is not true. I think there's something else that has a similar name that might have been. But this Odyssey.com, the video streaming service, is an independently owned, independent technology thing that, in my opinion, really deserves your support. It's working well. It still also has a continuous stream there. So thanks to everybody who's been watching on Odyssey. Live stream is solid, R Waves tells us. Thank you for watching on Odyssey, R Waves. I'm going to reduce the bandwidth that I'm using by turning off the monitoring there. But yeah, you can sponsor the show on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. If you like watching me point out FBI, NYPD disruptors, they're one and the same essentially. JTTF guarantees that. This Lawfare operation is very heavily FBI influenced. Those guys look like undercover something or other over there. Cops hate it when I point that out. But if you're here disrupting and screwing with the First Amendment and citizens, you can't do that. I mean, you can try it, but you shouldn't. Yeah, you can also sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. And the idea is, I can't do this. I can't be going all around the country learning about all these clowns, setting up all these countermeasures against illegal digital harassment. There's nothing that they can do to stop the truth. Even if they eventually stop me, it's too late. People know. Look, we've got more of these plug NYC. I bet you that's a scam too. Eric Adams probably making money from that. Plug NYC. And then these are the cops. They got some kind of deal on electric Mustangs, I seem to remember reading, in City of New York, because nobody wanted to buy these. They're just, I think, too expensive, too limited range. It's a station wagon. How is it a Mustang? It's a little bit silly, but anyway. What? See, a lot of people got a lot of stupid things to say. But I just think this Chinese gang is a setup. They were with Oren Levi, remember, yelling and screaming, and they had that Vietnamese guy, that bruiser. They're just always trying to start a fight. And that old lady advancing toward me with a pole, back up, stupid. I don't trust any of them.
And they're trying to put pressure. They're trying to get lower get lower commodity prices. They're trying to get Washington D.C. Washington or there's basically no other power that has to do that.
Get him. Put a microphone in that guy's face. He's sexy.
The world has to think about what the United States is going to do before they do anything. They can't make any domestic policy decisions. They can't make any
Look at this guy.
economic sanctions. Backed by the United States. Right? There was a coup backed by the United States in Iran in 1953. There was a coup backed by the United States in Guatemala in 1954. There's a coup backed by the United States in El Salvador.
This was like a test run for me. I need more.
Who speaks Chinese? What are they saying?
Oh, right.
This might be everything we need to see. So what do you think, man?
He's trying to educate. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Tell us more facts, man.
Hey, I know this woman. This is a woman I was speaking to in City Hall Park when the first protest happened. And remember, that's what I was asking Dershowitz about. This lady was holding a sign in City Hall Park, and I spoke to her.
Next step is you say we need to go back to the problem is that when the United States was doing all of this stuff and saying we're going to in wherever
We're sisters.
And the cops came and shut the whole thing down. I think this lady is legitimate. It's interesting that the Chinese woman came and stuck her flag right in my face.
Anybody who opposed any of those things, they were like, you're being anti-American. That's even
We're neighbors.
Anyway, that's all I have to
You're here
say.
for the rally too? Huh? You're here for the rally too? I'm gonna get your contact. One second. Let me just take care of her
So
right
I
quick.
just want to tell you that, like,
I'm gonna email you right now.
I read everything.
Well, let's not get her email broadcast to everybody, but I'll go talk to her in a minute. I think she's legitimate, right? I think, I hope. She has not sided with Orrin Levi or tried to attack me. It's a pretty simple set of criteria. Don't attack me, and we got no beef. Don't side with the people who do attack me.
I know that you're not saying I'm going to be but organizing
These people with the flags have got their eyes on me.
he's going to entrench.
Oh, good. I sent it to see if it came through.
Military entrench cover fraud.
He's going to 2 years ago right here. Actually, I met you on the other part where Michael Caine and
He's going to continue to fuck over who've been fucked over by the Democrats.
Right.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good.
You remember me? We've met several times.
Tell me.
Jason Goodman,
Yes,
crowdsource
Jason
the truth.
Goodman.
And I forgot your name.
I'm Evette Stark. You've
Stark.
interviewed me 2 different
Yes,
times.
many times. Well, you know what? You and I first met, as I recall, in City Hall Park when you were having a protest of the COVID stuff.
Yes.
And that was before any of the lockdown.
Right.
Remember the cops came in like
They removed us.
stormtroopers.
The
Right.
cops removed us, and then we like kind of lost touch. And then you interviewed me in Washington Square Park. I remember.
How can people find you on social media?
Well, I'm under Evette. It's Evette Jody, Jody. So Evette with an E, Evette, Jody Stark. I don't post a lot because I'm blocked and I'm censored still. And, Zuckerfuck, sorry. He can go, put his head in a toilet,
Well, now
basically.
he's
I was
gotta-
just censored again.
Really? But
by
he said they're
Meta.
not gonna
Well,
censor.
he's full of shit. And
I
the
believe
promise
that.
that he made a friend of mine who is he had his own paper in North Carolina many years ago. He said, I can't find the apology or the testimony saying that there will be no more censorship, and we're going to change Meta. He can't find where he said that. I actually saw it, and I wrote to him, or I responded, like, can I have my account that you took from me, my Facebook, in 2019, all my
Crickets.
14 years of peace education work with children from Children's International Summer Villages. That's CISV.org, which is a fantastic organization to create friendship with kids from all over the globe and all over the United States to prevent war, which is what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to prevent war. No more wars. 4 years, no wars. Now we got all this mess. Mishigas.
Mishigas, right. Let me ask you this. What do you think about?
I can't believe you recognize me. I can't believe you recognize me.
You're very recognizable.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about today's sentencing? Juan Merchan trying to, put a stigma on Trump, obviously.
Yeah, I think he's the criminal here. I don't know why anybody has not asked him for his oath of office. Okay, because your oath of office is to the Constitution, and he's already violated the Constitution more times than I can count. And where is his bond? He should have a bond. All this money that's been spent on all these court proceedings, which is lawfare against Trump, and to ruin his reputation, and to slander his name, and to brainwash people, because all the media covers it, and they got it. He's a criminal, and he's violating the law.
Well, that's just it, is that they wanted to say he was a convicted felon and to stamp him for the rest of history as the only president to ever serve as a convicted felon. Were you disappointed that the Supreme Court declined to intervene yesterday?
Yes, and I'm disappointed in the Supreme Court because we have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights, and nobody's following our Constitution and Bill of Rights. So the courts are admiralty courts. They're not constitutional courts, and all these judges are administrators. They're like money people. They're administrators. They're not really judges. They're masquerading as judges, and nobody knows that. Only people like myself who've been raked through the divorce courts, or in the family courts, who have lost children, homes, cars, or in the probate courts where seniors have been given to guardians and all of their property and money and antiques have been taken. And our courts are very, very corrupt. There's RICO racketeering going on with the judges and with the lawyers. And the lawyers don't have a license. It's a private club. They pay dues. And all of this is just fake. I mean, our entire society that we're living in is fake. It is the Matrix. It's the Matrix.
Yeah, I
so
agree
all the
with you.
movies that we've been watching for many, many years, like Dracula, there are people drinking blood in the United States from babies, dripping babies' blood. And, this is real
People
shit.
get into all kinds of sick and crazy stuff.
So the movies that we've been brainwashed to watch.
But wait, hang on. Let me keep you on the Supreme Court, because it was really Amy Coney Barrett really let us all down. She was the one who could have gone. It was 5-4, right? So if she had gone with the conservative justices, we wouldn't be here right now.
Look how many look how many children she's adopted, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, right.
As far as I'm concerned.
Let's not accuse her of anything.
I'm not accusing her. I'm just saying Child Protective Services is child procurement services for adoptions, forced adoptions and adoptions. And it's really about making money for the government. And it's Title E and Title D. And that needs to be looked at. And that was, the America's Safe Family Act, which was developed by the Clintons, who we know have a mess in Haiti and all over the world.
Absolutely,
with Oprah
the
Winfrey
33 children that. What was that woman's name? Who?
I can't.
Snuck them out, and then the lawyer that she had.
That's her best friend, one of Oprah's best friends too.
That's
and
really
Clinton's
bad.
Best friend.
Now, did you see any of the coverage at the Walcott Hotel where there's, looks like Trende Aragua getting down with, giving out babies out front there? I don't have it here to show you. I'm just checking to make sure.
A lot of what's going on in the court system, I believe, is about destroying the American family in the United States. This is not just happening in New York. New York just happens to be corrupt, and there's a lot of RICO racketeering.
Eric Adams seems to be the kingpin.
Well, Eric Adams talks a great deal, but he does nothing.
He steals a lot of money.
Yeah, he steals money, and also Hochul,
Oh, wait a minute. We've been
the devil.
frozen again.
She's the devil. Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's that I think we've got people here engaged in disruption. Well, listen, it was very good to see you again.
I hope
I'm going to go
made sense
restore.
for you.
Did. I'm going to go try to restore my broadcast here. Thanks for speaking
I
to me.
haven't seen you in a long time. I know you were fighting a case. I hope
Still
you won.
fighting it.
I'm in divorce court. I was in divorce court 11 years. My flag just dropped. I was in divorce court for 11 years. The court gave away everything to my ex, who's a lawyer.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so I'm like poor, even though I don't look poor. Yeah, it's been a mess. I'm just saying.
I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. Hopefully,
I'm so sorry it's happened to you.
Well, hopefully this Donald Trump term will help rid us of this lawfare. I will see you around. Let's see if we can get it back here. They got to make it really difficult for me, but difficult is not impossible. Let's see if we're back. Did it work again? It could just be the cellular network is jammed out over there. It could be legit. Yeah. So see, now I have a technique. So it's been tried, it's been repeated. We understand the failure mode. That's a unique failure mode today, which is quite interesting given that I'm doing something new. I think we might be figuring something out. They didn't like me talking to her, perhaps. Or maybe, that was just a coincidence. See, if there's anybody who I would suspect of initiating failures, it's this jackass with the backpack. What's he got in that backpack? IMS eye catcher? I need to think more about the way this is failing. There's a lot of ways that you could interfere with what I'm doing. So what do we got from the news? How long is it going to take Juan Merchan to come down with this little sentencing here? When will we know what he has decided to do to Trump? Anybody in the chat? No?
Getting any takeaways from talking with folks? I guess us getting used to the new president.
Is Odyssey still live? Fred Edwards on YouTube, what's he doing? I hope the Odyssey stream didn't die there. I'm using a lot of bandwidth, so I don't want to. I'm just right now trying to find any news about. Sound is a bit choppy. It's over. Okay, not guilty. Wait a minute. Trump found not guilty? Wait a minute. Is that right? How could that be? See, that makes sense if it's Juan Merchan sentenced in hush money case. Sentenced to unconditional discharge. Well, but that's not guilty. Unconditional discharge. Trump gets no jail time or penalties in sentence for hush money conviction. Let's just take a look at what's going on here for a second. Let's see if we can bring this in. I think we can. Oops. Let's see. Is that? Here, let's see what we can see. That's exactly what I didn't want it to do. Sorry, everybody, trying to do something here. So, yeah, not guilty is not the same as unconditional discharge. Unconditional discharge is what we knew he was planning to do the whole time. Unconditional discharge is you're guilty, but you can go and we're not going to do anything to you. Why is this being so difficult? There we go. That ought to do it. Okay. Let's see. We'll look at the criminals at CNN here. So it's saying Trump gets no jail time or penalties and sentenced for hush money conviction. Trump's sentence. President Trump has been sentenced to unconditional discharge on his conviction last year of 34 charges of business fraud. Trump rails against the case. So yeah, that's not the same as not guilty. Unconditional discharge means he's guilty and he's being discharged, not sent to jail without conditions, no home arrest, nothing. So the judge there has done exactly what was expected. Now they can say that Trump is a convicted felon. And so, as the Supreme Court said, through the normal, which is not what this will be, this is a very abnormal set of conditions, but through the abnormal course of appeal, Trump will be able to overturn this. Now, I guess if you overturn something on appeal, then you're not a convicted felon, but that's not going to happen in the next 10 days. So again, they're gerrymandering their accusations here so that they'll be able to say Donald Trump was the first person in history to enter office as a convicted felon. And that will now be true, irrespective of any overturn. I forgot about that. I don't think Norm Eisen is here. But irrespective of any overturn on appeal, it will now be able to be said by Democrat lunatics that Donald Trump was the first individual to enter the office of president as a convicted felon. And we know they love that. They love that crap. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. So it looks like what I said at the top of this show, yeah, that's all they wanted, Dodie. That is all they wanted, was to be able to have that talking point against Trump. And they have it now. Nothing to be done about that. It's just really an embarrassment. We learned a lot about my new technological endeavor. There's no way to secure the connection between the phone on the end of this stick and the phone on my wrist, but we did maintain a solid connection to the internet. So that's quite good. Previously, those sort of things would have just totally ended the broadcast. It's super cold, but I think I'm gonna keep this walk going. Why is this person driving when the light is telling me to walk? My fingers are freezing. Well, that was disappointing. I mean, we know a lot more about Amy Coney Barrett right now. She's a dope. For the preservation of the integrity of the justice system, the U.S. Supreme Court should have overturned this. It's a completely fabricated case. So let's review the details again. Setting aside, as much as I dislike Dersh, he has raised some valid points in this case, in that they're saying it started with the allegation that Trump or someone acting at his direction improperly recorded a payment to the prostitute or the porn star Stormy Daniels as a legal expense. But the fact is, it's not like he hired her as a prostitute and paid her $130,000 and then recorded that as a legal expense. She made up a lie that there was a sexual relationship, which no evidence has ever been presented of, and Trump denies, and she's even denied in past statements, so she's not anybody that can be trusted. But he paid her as a settlement in a lawsuit, so that is definitely a legal expense. So right away, their first thing fails, but whatever, the jury obviously didn't care. Then they claim that that was done to manipulate the election, and that would be a felony, and so it allowed them to extend the statute of limitations for the first thing. There are, I've learned, certain crimes that allow you to extend the statute of limitations. For instance, in cases of legal malpractice, the statute of limitations is 3 years in New York. However, if such legal malpractice is a component of fraud, the statute of limitations extends to 6 years. Isn't that interesting? I found that interesting. I wonder if Jonathan Snyder will find that equally interesting. We're going to find out. So they were able to extend the statute of limitations through that rather tenuous, completely fraudulent legal theory. Air quotes around legal theory. It's an illegal theory. There's a future of garbage. It's remained the same. So then they said because this was recorded 34 times, that became 34 counts. Also ridiculous. And then they convicted him right now. So, okay, he's convicted of these felonies. So now they can call him a convicted felon. Well, it doesn't really matter because he's the president. Now the question is, will Jamie Raskin do something with this to prevent Trump from taking office? I think it's too late for that. I wouldn't cast this aside just yet, though. These lawfare scoundrels almost undoubtedly have some kind of stupid plan in mind to do something with this. I don't know that it's just to tag Trump with the convicted felon moniker. Of course, that's a component of it, but I wonder if it's not part of some bigger and even more sinister plan that they might have unfolding right now. In fact, I would suspect it is. I don't know, legal minds, people who are watching, what could they do with this? I guess they'll start another impeachment against Trump, and they'll say, well, he's a felon, so he's not, suitable to hold office, unfit, and start to try to do something with that. I have to think they're going to try to concoct something. Wow, huge screen in that Audi. Cars have giant screens in them now. I don't dislike that. Oh my gosh. This residential area under here has grown since I was last here. We've got a motorcycle overturned. So maybe that's a motorcycle repair business of some kind. I mean, look at this. It's becoming a block. This guy's got a job delivering maybe for Amazon and then homeless. Holy cow. It's a good opportunity to walk around a little bit here because I've not been in the city for well over a month. Took a little vacation. I don't know if you could call it that. I was working the whole time, but went to visit family. And now wait a minute. It's frozen again. How is that happening? Is it going to come back? Man, what a hassle. If somebody's not following me. Well, I don't know, maybe this type of failure that is super infrequent is happening all the time today for completely random reasons, or maybe not. I just don't know. I guess we may never find out. But let's just see if we're back reliably. Then that means I've got a reliable method. It is tricky. Yeah, it looks to be reliably back. I don't know. There we go. Yeah, so at least we know how to recover from that distinct type of failure. Stuff will always get figured out. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be too don't worry about AI, because it is quite new, quite unique, and maybe fraught with potentially dangerous stuff. I just feel like we're always going to be able to figure it out. You gotta, what did David Hawkins used to say, Blaise Pascal, you got an obligation to think hard. It's true, but a lot of people forfeit that obligation. So anyway, that's how they jammed up Trump in their Lawfare. And it's Norm Eisen concocted all this. But let's just go back to the original scam with Stormy Daniels, because it still goes back to Felix Sater. I've learned a lot about Felix Sater since July, since this all started. I want to reiterate that guy Kenneth Rakoshev, who's the chairman of ABT Bank, that was right at the center of that Almaty, Kazakhstan versus Sater. That guy is photographed with Joe and Hunter Biden giving the next day or something 142 grand to Rosemont Seneca in response to that email. What's the guy's name? Devin Archer. Kenneth. Damn it, disconnected again. What is up? I don't know. Don't know why that keeps happening. We're gonna have to keep testing. It definitely seems like disruption of me is something that a lot of people with a lot of capability would want. How exactly that would happen, I don't know. But let's try something different here. Maybe I'm here. We're going to do this. Turn this off. Don't need that. Yeah, so Kenneth Rakoshev sends 142 grand to Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden buys his Porsche. Kenneth Rakoshev is also suing or involved with the bank that's suing Felix Sater. Felix Sater is a Bill Clinton guy, right? He's a made man in 1998 under Valerie Caproni while Bill Clinton is the president. Now, Caproni was appointed her federal judge position by Obama. DW says, can't hear a thing. What do you mean? The sound should be fine. I'm looking at it. I'm listening to it. It should be fine. Out of the city equals less stress. Well, that's true, although it was pretty stressful getting the failover system to work. I guess it's become obvious that I'm attempting to implement a walking version of the failover system. It's unclear if it's helping or hurting. I mean, we haven't been disconnected from the internet, which is the most common failure with the walking live streams, and that's very frustrating because recovery often involves downloading and editing videos, which I don't want to do. Yeah, there we go. Everybody is saying 5x5. Sound is fine. Good. So, what does Rakoshev have to do with all of this? What does Felix Sater have to do? Felix Sater is directly involved in this Stormy Daniels hush money thing because he was communicating with, maybe he's indirectly involved, but he was communicating with Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is the guy who made all these payments, and I just don't believe that the $130,000 from Michael Cohen has really much of anything to do with Stormy Daniels. They just needed that money to be sent to her. Remember, people who have been watching for a long time and people who sponsor on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, or subscribestar.com, or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth are going to know that I talk about this component of Lawfare where the progenitors of Lawfare need to attack the target with what I've called the key evidence. And it's manufactured fake evidence, but their goal is to make it so compelling that when people see that, that sort of sells it in the court of public opinion or even in the courts. Like Amy Comey Barrett, look, I have no evidence that she's like directly involved in this. Lawfare is a form of social engineering. And one of the things that's so insidious about social engineering is that it's often difficult to tell if a person is an active social engineer or if they've been, if they've fallen for it, so to speak. Social engineering convinces a lot of people of things, and judges are people. So if they are tricked by the news, it affects how they make decisions in court. That's what Norm Eisen is doing when he goes on MSNBC. That's what Andrew Weissman is doing when he goes on MSNBC, when he holds those podcasts or whatever the hell he's doing at NYU. That was so great. Somebody on X who goes by the researcher, we've frozen again. Damn it. I just can't deal with this. Let's just try a normal disconnect and see if there's an easier way for me to get back onto this. That might be better. A little easier to deal with. Okay, that's looking promising. If it connects. Won't connect is the problem. Very frustrating. So this must be, I thought I had it set to not automatically join random networks. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I did. I better check that again. But that might have been the problem all along. Yeah, again, we don't have any direct evidence that this is
So a lot of it's
deliberate disruption. There's a lot of stupid settings on the phone that could go wrong, but that's what Norm Eisen, that's what Andrew Weissman, that's what all these guys are doing when they go on the news and make their stupid little appearances. They're social engineering the public, and judges and FBI directors watch that. Could also be just giving them plausible deniability to say that they believe it. It's disgraceful that Amy Comey Barrett allowed that to happen. It's disgraceful that any of the Supreme Court judges allowed that to happen. They should have just said all of these defects with this case, it can't go forward. But they didn't do that. We'll see. Certainly they've created a political climate that's going to make it extremely difficult for Donald Trump to operate effectively as president and to bring some of these lawfare criminals to justice. Obviously, that's their purpose. Right, but back on Michael Cohen, this $130,000 payment. That reeks to me of an amount that Michael Cohen was able to get from that questionable HELOC. Remember that home equity line of credit? He had a whole complicated story about how he didn't want to tell his wife that he was doing this to help Donald Trump. I don't understand that. It seems to me if you were making a payment to a prostitute, particularly in the way that this is allegedly being made, I think you would want your wife to know all the details of that, just so there'd be absolutely no question about what the hell is going on, Michael. I don't know what his relationship with his wife is, but it seems weird to me. I don't know. I mean, is there a network of shitheads around this city who are trying to do things to me? Does that guy know Warren Levi? I mean, it's certainly interesting, at least, isn't it? We're going to have to do some more testing with this. That guy seemed to be looking at me, didn't he? I don't know. Sure looked like it. To me. Let's see if we can avoid that for the rest of the way going home. Oh wow, look at this dog's outfit. I love it. I mean, could it be that there is that much attention on me? It seems unlikely, but it's that form of failure there has happened so many times right now. I just wonder, maybe it's a function of the failover system working, preventing it from disconnecting from the network, but when the failover system gets engaged, this camera disconnects. Is that how it would work? Shouldn't be. I need to think about how I'm implementing it. I guess that would have to be the most likely presumption, given that it's a new and substantial technological change to how the show works. First time I'm using it today, and we're seeing that happen again and again. So maybe it is. We'll continue to test, but irrespective of the cause, it has led to the discovery here of how to get around that. So hopefully now what will happen is Michael Cohen, Andrew Weissman, Norm Eisen, and Ben Wittes will be charged with RICO or something for putting together this whole Stormy Daniels Lawfare deal. And then maybe we can start to investigate that. Maybe Trump doesn't care about being labeled the first person to enter office of the President of the United States as a convicted felon. Maybe that won't matter. But the question is, do we, American citizens, care? Because the office of the President of the United States and the government itself is our property. I don't like these rogue scoundrels messing it up, dirtying up our rightfully elected president with their stupid nonsense. No, this has nothing to do with SpaceX. By the way, people who are announcing, oh, I'm out, I don't have the patience. Thanks for nothing. I mean, that type of negative comment doesn't help me or anyone. If you need to leave, do it gracefully. Look at how much stuff is closed here. New closures since I was last here. Terrible. This is Eric Adams, New York City. Norm Eisen in the Bureau of Prisons. I don't know about the Bureau, just put him straight in the prison. There is a trident, U.S. Navy. Remember, we saw that odd sort of trident. It's the Air Force Memorial in front of the Pentagon. But I don't understand why it's a trident. What does that have to do with the Air Force? Seems weird to me. So Nate says it feels like a deliberate attack. It could be. I mean, I did notice that guy poking his head out from the corner, looking at me, and certainly, you know, if there's some new way of implementing an IMS eye catcher, could be as small as a cell phone or something different than an IMS eye catcher. You know, one of the things that 5G technology allows is, I guess it's called beam formation or beam triangulation, something like that, where the idea is it's not necessarily that much different than 4G, but it's using phased array antenna or something like that to locate where the device is and project the signal directly at the device, so it's a more focused beam. People who know about 5G are, you know, going to know more about that than me. Just like I'm not a lawyer and I'm frequently speaking in generalities that are sort of my understanding of things and maybe a layperson's interpretation of them. Same thing with 5G. I'm not a radio expert or a, you know, wireless internet genius by any means, but that's my understanding, is that it does this beam formation and it can point it right at you. I think that's part of the stuff that freaked people out about 5G. And there are health concerns. Any technology, cars, airplanes, radio waves, satellites in space shooting internet at us, there are health concerns. I'm not saying people shouldn't be concerned. And like anything, it's going to affect certain people more than others. There's a shady guy with a backpack looking at his cell phone just as I walk by and the picture stops. So what the So that guy, the second he walked by me with his backpack and cell phone, the picture froze. Does that guy have some equipment that allows him to disrupt my broadcast? Or is it just a coincidence that a sketchy looking asshole with a backpack looking right at his cell phone and me walks by the moment the broadcast is disrupted? I'm sorry for people who are annoyed by these disruptions, but we're conducting an important bit of research here. Maybe it's possible that whoever wants to turn off my broadcast is aware that I'm doing something differently today. And maybe they have a network of people walking around the city. We've seen evidence of that before. How does Oren Levi walk up to me, run up to me from more than a block away or a half a block away, that guy stopped. He's coming back. What's he getting out of the garbage can? How does Oren Levi identify me from a block away from behind, doesn't know my name, doesn't know the name of the show, tells me his name is John, could have been Clearview. That was right around the time NYPD got jammed up for using Clearview AI facial recognition software. That was Jessica Tisch. Remember, Sal told us she was some kind of technology liaison for the NYPD. Now she's the supposed commissioner. But Sal has been doing broadcasts saying that he sees signs that Eric Adams is still calling the shots at the NYPD. Obviously, he's the mayor, so he's in charge of it, but that stuff's supposed to be delegated to the commissioner. And if he's got a commissioner who's just a lapdog doing his bidding, maybe that's what we're seeing. So here's the park, super empty. Maniacs dislike the cold. I don't know, do we think these are random breaks in the broadcast, or do they always coincide with weirdos looking at me? And what technology would these weirdos be using if they are, in fact, doing that? Got to keep monitoring this broadcast as I go. Yeah, people who have ducked out, you're missing something quite interesting here. How we doing? We're still live on YouTube. Yeah, everyone's saying thank you for the effort. Well, I appreciate it that people have been with me here on Crowdsource the Truth for 8 years. Oh my God, that's so cute. Dog on a backpack. This is such a wonderfully cute dog you have. Cute dog. I appreciate everybody who's stuck with me. People think it's the weirdos disrupting the broadcast. I think that might be right. Best way to counteract the weirdos is to become a sponsor on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth or crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com or subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Any of those ways are great. I prefer Odyssey just because it's the most economical way for people, as little as $3 a month. We still have the Christmas tree. As little as $3 a month plus a 58-cent Odyssey fee. Now here's somebody else looking at a phone following me. Let's get a big giant piece of concrete in between me and him before he can attempt. I don't know exactly if they have anything to do with it or what the nature of the technology they would be using would be. And of course, there's a lot of people looking at phones walking around. It could be a coincidence. But it's a lot of that type of disruption happening today. And we know in the past, the police have definitely knocked me off. Oren Levi, he came up to me on the street. I've spoken about this woman who came up to me on the street in Oslo, Norway. People saw that incident where Charles and I were walking down 8th Avenue and a dude came out of an office building and came up right behind me and said, "How is George?" That is super weird, in my view. That seems like evidence of a network of operatives who can be alerted in real time of my location and take action at literally a second's notice. I mean, there's something like a 10-second delay on the broadcast, 10 to 30 seconds, usually less than 30 seconds. That's what I'm talking about when I say, ooh, green dot right away. People who saw me in Washington, D.C., on the 6th, just the other day, I commented that, hey, the green dot came up right away. The green dot is what shows up when I hit the go button, and it kind of confirms, okay, you're on. Because on January 6, 2021, you could not get on the internet, either due to deliberate disruption or more likely just because the entire mobile network was super jammed. That little kid wants to be on camera, but I'm trying to avoid it. So I was, a little worried the other day that there might not be the ability to broadcast. And I did see those giant cop sort of temporary, whatever they were doing, 5G towers, whatever they were setting up there. I thought that might have been in the business of preventing me from broadcasting. So that green dot tells me that I'm on. And the system that I've put together is intended to keep me connected to the internet. What I hadn't thought about is this phone here is connected by Wi-Fi to this phone here. And that's what keeps getting disrupted, causing the picture to freeze. So I guess now the cops know more about what I'm doing, and we'll go think about other ways to mess with it. But I don't know. That's new today, that we've had all of these disruptions of the sort of ad hoc local Wi-Fi network on my body. And we'll have to watch this video back and see if those disconnects coincide with suspicious looking people doing things to me. Here's Samuel Rubin Residential Hall. I lived there for 2 years while I went to college. A lot of good memories in that Rubin Hall. Ate a lot of chicken sandwiches in the cafeteria there. So that guy coming out of the office building to ask Charles, and specifically me, how is George? That doesn't strike me as the type of thing, something, you know, like people who enjoy the show have frequently stopped us on the street or stopped me somewhere. They act differently than people like Oren Levi who come up to me and lie about their names. People who stop me on the street generally have something nice to say. How's George being whispered in my ear is quite clearly antagonism, wouldn't you say? So what is that? How did that guy know? Oh, with this fucking asshole. Get the bicycle off the sidewalk. Huh. Oh. Coincidence. But if somebody knows me and they're trying to custom tailor a surveillance program for me, wouldn't something like that be exactly what they would do? And when I say custom tailor a surveillance program, I'm not making that language up. That comes from Valerie Caproni. But they probably would have anticipated that I would have said something to a 60-year-old white guy riding a city bike on the sidewalk. You could have anticipated that. If you were someone like George's asshole, mentally ill, wife-swapping, paperclip Nazi brother, okay, send the guy on the city bike now. So what is it? Is there some new technology that these guys have, or is it just the same old IMSI catcher? You know, a stronger signal. I got to check all the settings on each of these phones. It'd be nice if there was a way to set it up to just... I thought I had this set to ignore all other Wi-Fi except for the ones I send it to. I'll double check that when I get home. Is it a coincidence? So, I mean, we've seen evidence. I don't have proof, but we've seen evidence that there is, in fact, a network of individuals who can be alerted to my real-time location within seconds, and that they can take some action. See, Jim is saying if he saw me on the street, he would come up and say, hi, not how's George. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Nice people who aren't maniacs, who actually enjoy the show, say nice things. And we've seen it happen a bunch of times. You know, disruptive maniacs and Antifa people and people who work for the cops come up to me and they lie. Ezra Frisch and Oren Levi and, you know, freaky weirdos like that. They're the ones doing the weird thing. So DW says, I do not understand why it works again when I leave and come back. That's a coincidence, because what's happening is I'm resetting various aspects of this system that get disrupted when those failures occur. I'm doing it as quickly as I possibly can because YouTube and other things will, you know, when there's not data being sent to them, will think, oh, the live stream has ended. Different type of hit. Maybe we just lost a different type of failure. It's amazing and unusual disruptions today. I don't know why that. The additional measures I've taken. Crazy. I mean, somebody seems really, so that's interesting. Okay. So that type of failure just happened because the failover system, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This could be delivered today. Okay. Learning a lot. Wow. Thanks, everyone, for sticking with me throughout this broadcast. It's been both legally and technologically educational, certainly for me. We're flying without a net now, so we might get disconnected. Keep our eyes out for weirdos. Are weirdos following me around everywhere I go in New York City? Have I become that much of a disruptive force to the lawfare criminals that want to destroy this country and want to destroy the First Amendment and the constitutionally elected executive? I mean, it stands to reason. Maybe. I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been uncovering a lot of things that nobody else has. This might be the most disrupted broadcast ever, but why? I mean, really, frankly, just walking around with just one phone, the way I normally do. We don't get this kind of disruption all the time. I've walked on that street before. So to finish the thought, we've definitely seen evidence that there is a network of operatives who can be alerted to my location in real time, who could possess certain technology that might disrupt me. Obviously, technology is evolving all the time, and the police want to use technology. The introduction of Jessica Tisch as the new police commissioner, they're certainly not doing anything to stop anybody selling food illegally. They're trying to stop me from utilizing the First Amendment. At least some of this scaffolding is going away. I guess this building might be about to open. That guy just seems legitimately lost. A lot of people also looking at their phones as they walk around New York City for that reason. But it would stand to reason that if Jessica Tisch is the new police commissioner, and she was formerly the technology liaison, probably she's going to introduce some new technology. So she's been the police commissioner for maybe, I don't know, about a month. It seemed to be right around the time that I went to Florida that they brought her in. So has she added technology to the police arsenal? It was interesting that Sal said she had something to do with the bringing in of cell phones and that was a disaster. I think without even knowing too many of the details, I generally agree with him. I see a lot of cops looking at the cell phone instead of looking at their surroundings. Got to ask Sal about that, get some more information. We're due for another episode with Sal. So now let's think about that. His was among the first broadcasts to use the failover system in the car, and there wasn't a complete implementation of it. And neither is this. You know, all different scenarios have different implementations of it. And this one's on its last legs. It's no longer, right now, no failover involved. So come at me, losers. Now is your time to disrupt the broadcast if you're gonna. We just don't know. Anyway, I guess people are going to want to tune in and see what else Trump has to say, what Norm Eisen has to say, what Andrew Weissman has to say, what all these different people are going to have to say about this stupid outcome in court. Porch view. Mayor of LA. Yeah, somebody says, how about the mayor of LA? How about her? I saw an interesting video that alleged that she was a Marxist who had regularly traveled to Cuba. That's pretty interesting. Now, I just froze again. I don't think I want to revive this broadcast. We'll have to talk about the mayor of LA in a future broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in.